the next thing that I worked on was Christmas Carol sampler. Looks like this. This is a primitive hair. And I did get a little bit more in this. The last time that you saw it, all I had was this rooftop here done. This is the one that's done on that gorgeous fabric that Julie picked out. It's 32 count ancient. And it's the gold, blue, bluey splotchy stuff. And so I got more of that building done, and then some of the wording started. And oh goodness, I love this so much. It's beautiful. I was stitching this. Do you guys remember when you look at your when you look at something that you stitched while you were watching something, do you kind of associate? I was watching Misty Purcell, and if you guys haven't checked out her videos, they are really, really phenomenal. She's one of the few people that actually has more things going than I do, and at least more different kinds of things. I don't know if she has more whips, but more different kinds of things going. So she weaves as well. And anyway, I was watching Misty Purcell while I was stitching that, and every time I look at that now, it makes me think of her. I hope to work on that maybe some more today for Merry Monday, although I'm sort of, I don't want to talk too much about this, but I have to admit I feel a little bit like I'm in, I don't know what to call it, almost a no man's land. Like I kind of don't know what to do with myself. I have zero obligations today. You know, my oldest daughter is 26 and my youngest is 18 and just headed off to college. So my husband and I have had kids in the house for the last 26 years, right? And it is just a strange feeling to not have, like, to be somewhere at 3:30 for some event, or to need to get, you know, a meal together for somebody other than my husband and myself. It's bizarre. I'm not going to say it's bad. I've had a few rough moments, but it is just a really, really bizarre feeling. So I'm trying to just take it easy this week and not put too much pressure on myself to do a whole lot of things. I am going to help out up at the school I was asked to help out. Concordia, where my kids went to high school, has a huge international student population, mostly Chinese, some South Korean, and a few Vietnamese kiddos, and most of them come here not speaking any English. And so I'm starting to volunteer after school I just signed up for 1 day a week to volunteer to help them with their English. And so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. And that's on Thursdays. And so, yeah, looking forward to that. Okay, the next thing I worked on was Harvest Delivery by my favorite, Paulette Stewart, Plum Street Samplers. Love, 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 love. This, I went back and watched, kind of flipped through my video 2 videos ago, and I showed this and I said, but I'm not going to start this. I'm not going to work on it because it's not really a fall. It's a later fall. It's not really a sunflower project. I have completely negated that. This is probably the one I've worked on the most. I love this. I love this. There's the horse, almost pretty darn close to done. Isn't she beautiful? Oh my gosh, I love her so much. I love her. I have been really having fun with this because she is stitched in oatmeal, Gentle Arts oatmeal. And, you know, I've struggled with white, as many of us have. I've struggled with white in the past. And I said something on an earlier video, you know, months back, that I was doing something in white and I was struggling with it. And I had lots of lots of suggestions from people on how to make white look better and whatnot when you stitch it. But Nicole, Buckeye Stitcher, said just railroad. Railroad is the key. And I didn't even know what railroading meant until I started reading Vanna's blog years ago. And I never did it. And she talked about it, that she didn't do it, and I looked it up to see what it was. And so I always figured, well, if Vanna doesn't do it, I'm not going to do it. But Vanna does use thread, you know, uses the thread magic stuff. And other things that she does, and she stitches with a frame, and I don't. And so I railroaded these stitches, and I would do, you know, maybe like 10, 12 stitches or a couple rows, and then I would do a couple stitches not railroading, and I could see a difference. And so I railroaded all of these stitches, and I think it just, like, I'm so super pleased. I'm not the greatest stitcher. I was watching Teresa Kitten Stitcher the other day, and she made a comment about carrying her threads. Someone had asked, do you carry your threads? And she said, yes, I do. She said, I'm a type B personality, and I'd never really heard that expression before. You know, we always say type A personalities are those people that are really, you know, really disciplined and perfectionists and that sort of thing. And Teresa said, I'm a type B personality, and I don't, you know, I do carry my threads or whatever. And I thought, I am a type B personality. I am. I like things to look nice, but I'm not a perfectionist about most things. I mean, there's a few things that if mistakes are really horrible and they really, really stand out, or if I think they're going to be judged by somebody, you know, then that might make a difference. But in general, I'm kind of, but it is nice to be able to look at this and say, for me at least, I'm very pleased with this horse. I'm very pleased with her. She's beautiful. And then the pumpkins, I got a little start on the pumpkins, because you do kind of get tired of stitching the white, and so I would maybe do one length of white or two, and then I did the black, and then I worked on the card a little bit, and then I got tired of black, and so then I started in on the pumpkins, and boy, they go fast. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a good job, but aren't those beautiful? Oh my gosh. Paulette Stewart, she's a genius. She is a girl after my own heart. The last thing I worked on is the thing I should have been only working on, is also Plum Straight Sampler, Sunflower House. I just pulled some colors that I thought would work. And it's okay. I may want to restitch this in using the fancy floss at some point. I'm happy with it, but I think it would be neat to have some modeling in there, and so here it is. There's the barn. The barn is done, and it's very, I don't know if you can see it, but it's very orange. And it is a little bit orange in this picture. I don't know if you can really see, but it's kind of, anyway, I just used a DMC orange, and you know what? It's okay. It's not too bad. It turned out. It's all right. And then what I'm going to do with the sunflowers, because the sunflowers are really, they're done in lots of different colors, and they're done in more of a modelly, with some modeling in them. So what I did is I pulled some oranges and yellows, and I'm doing, combining, you know, so one thread from this orange and one thread from this yellow, and to give it sort of a modelly look to it, or give the sunflowers more of a faded look. So I don't have a whole lot left. The horse is done, except for her saddle, and then the big sunflower, and then the little flowers, and the cart. So yeah, I would like to see myself get this done this week, and maybe I can make that a goal. Okay, and then I kitted up a couple of other things. First of all, let's talk about this. I'm probably going to have 3 videos today. I really enjoy dyeing. I've been just small amounts. I've been dyeing wool for years, and for wool we have a special dye that comes as a powder, and it's a little difficult to deal with. It does a beautiful job, but it makes kind of a mess, and you cannot get that powder on anything. It's such strong dye. It stays on your hands for days, and you know, but I have a good time dyeing fabrics, but my fabric never turns out as good as any of the fabric I can buy from Julie, so I rarely do it. But, you know, I will do a coffee tea dye every once in a while. But I'm enthralled with the idea of natural dyes that, you know, you kind of have around the house. Like coffee teaing is neat. And so I've been doing Weight Watchers since May, and have had real success this time around with Weight Watchers. And I'm really happy about it. But for years and years and years, I have made my own homemade beans. I grew up in a Hispanic household, and my dad was a great cook, and he always made homemade beans from scratch, and they were delicious. And so, and my kids, you know, like bean burritos, and they will eat, you know, red beans and rice and black beans and rice and that sort of thing. And beans are 0 points on Weight Watchers, and you can eat, you know, quite a few. And black beans are a little bit easier on your stomach than, say, like pinto beans or even green beans. And so we eat a lot of black beans around here, and I make them from scratch. So I soak them for a whole day, and then, you know, when you buy beans when they're dried, you have to soak them. I don't have a pressure cooker, so I soak the beans for at least 24 hours, and then and change out the water several times, and then I cook them on the stovetop for usually 3 to 4 hours. And you know, I add seasonings and other things to them. And then I typically will make like breakfast burritos with scrambled eggs, or just bean burritos with cheese, and freeze those so that it's just an easy, quick lunch. Or we'll have, like, one of the nights we'll have red beans and rice, or black beans and rice, as the case may be. So this week I was doing up a pot of beans, and every time I went to change the water, when I was soaking the beans, I marveled at the beautiful, deep, purpley black color that the water changed to from the beans. And I got to thinking, I wonder what it would be like as a dye. And so I actually saved some out, and then I didn't get to do the video last week, so I ended up throwing it away. But I went to Hobby Lobby and got an inexpensive piece of fabric. This is just, I think this is also, this isn't a Witchelt, because now Hobby Lobby is selling fabric, linen by their store. It might be like a Yarn Bee or an Art something, but anyway, it's just a piece of cheap linen, 32 count. It was probably this color. Gosh, there's a glare. I wonder if I put it on something. It was probably like that color when I bought it. In fact, this may be the same stuff, just a different batch. So from the last time that I rinsed my beans, I saved the dye, and I put it in a separate pot, and I heated it up on the stove, and I threw a piece of linen in there. And you guys, it turned out really cool. Now, it didn't turn out splotchy at all, so I was a little disappointed with that, but it did turn, and I thought it would be darker, but it did turn a really interesting shade of gray. And it seems pretty color fast. I rinsed it, and then I dried it in the dryer. And so, see, it was this, and now it's this. And so that was kind of fun. That was kind of a little something different to do. And, yeah, so that, and I did that with the following things in mind. So, when I was looking for the small that I was going to do for my exchange partner, I needed something fall, not Halloween. And I've actually been looking for a while. But somebody, I think I was on 3 All Threads site, and I actually ordered, I ordered these from her. And I was thinking, based on what I know about my exchange partner, I was thinking, oh, it'd be kind of fun to do a frosted pumpkin stitchery small, or even a oh my goodness, it just went right out of my head what this is called. Soda Stitch, which 3 All Threads is, her name just went right out of my head. 3 All Threads is now selling Soda Stitch. So I went to go look to see if there were any, fall, not Halloween, Soda Stitch patterns. And while I did not find those, I did find a frosted pumpkin stitchery one that I'm going to do for her. I did find 2 other Soda Stitch patterns that I bought, and I think I don't know that I've ever done a Soda Stitch. I don't think I have. And I don't think I have any of the patterns. They are typically a little bit too cutesy for me, but I saw these, and it was probably partially the mood that I was in, and, partially who knows. I saw these, and I just couldn't turn them down. So I'm going to end here and then do one more video, and we'll talk about Soda Stitch.